Hi, I'm Alex. Welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. So in today's video we're going to be talking about the recent economic stimulus passed by Congress and the massive impact that's going to have on certain stocks, and specifically in this video we're going to be talking about the impact that it's going to have on a number of SPACs. Some of which you may have heard of, some of which you may not have, which are all really well positioned to perhaps be winners from this stimulus. So as part of this economic stimulus, $35.2 billion has been allocated towards energy initiatives. In this video we're going to look at what that means, how that's split up, and ultimately which SPACs are going to win from this. If you're at all interested in investing in the energy space whatsoever, be it EVs, batteries technology, or any other disruptive technologies, then this video is definitely for you. Now, as part of this video as well, we're going to touch on one area which the stimulus didn't address, which actually I think some people were quite surprised about, and which may have a meaningful impact on a sector which many investors are quite excited about. So stick around for that as well. So if you're new to the channel and you like investing related content, then smash that subscribe button. If you like the video, please hit the like button. It's so helpful in pushing the channel to a wider audience. And as always, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is purely for educational and entertainment purposes only. But let's get straight into it. So in the latest stimulus announced, $35.2 billion has been allocated towards investing into energy initiatives. Now that has been split across two acts, the Energy Act of 2020 and the Energy for the Environment Act. So this stimulus for the energy sector is actually the largest energy bill that's been passed in the past 10 years. So this is really exciting for all investors into the space. So currently, on the basis of my understanding now, it's a little unclear how this stimulus will work. Whether tax credits for customers, which will ultimately increase demand and in turn increase revenues for the companies, or alternatively, subsidies to companies which instead reduce the company's costs or improve their profits. Whichever mechanism which the stimulus works under, one, the other, or perhaps even both, it doesn't really matter. And ultimately this is really positive for investors in the company. Now one area this didn't address, which I think many people were expecting, was further tax credits for electric vehicle purchases. Ultimately this would have been great in driving further demand for electric vehicles. All electric vehicle manufacturers would have been beneficiaries of this from seeing increased demand and ultimately increased revenues. But that's not the case with this stimulus, and it will be interesting to see how this develops. So let's quickly look into the breakdown of how this stimulus is allocated within the energy sector. About $1.5 billion is being allocated to solar technologies, about $2.6 billion being allocated to transportation technologies, $1.7 billion to energy efficiency, $3.4 billion to the energy grid, $2.4 billion to distributed energy, $6.2 billion to carbon storage and capture, $6.6 billion for the nuclear energy upgrade, $4.7 billion for nuclear fusion, and just under $3 billion for emerging technologies. Now the balance of that $35.2 billion is allocated among a number of different smaller pools, however these are the main ones. So now we're going to look at 10 SPACs, and this is by no means comprehensive whatsoever. So please, if you feel that a SPAC is missing from this list and should be included, let me know in the comment section below. Likewise, if you feel there's a stock that fits within one of these categories that's well positioned that you think I should know about, then please let me know. On this channel, we've already had some amazing recommendations from people, so please keep that up. And again, before we go into this list, this is not by any means a detailed analysis of these SPACs. We're just running through them. While some have been covered on this channel before, a number of them haven't, and so would be really keen to hear any thoughts and perspectives that people have on them. And at the time of filming, all of these stocks are currently SPACs. Now, I know a couple of them this week, the tickers are going to be changing, so they'll be no longer SPACs, but as of this moment in time, they are all still SPACs. So firstly, let's look at one that's aligned to the solar stimulus, Alberton Acquisition Corp, or ticker ALAC, and their merger with SolarMax, which ultimately is a solar energy business. Now this is perhaps quite interesting. At the time of filming, they're trading only at a small premium to the net asset value, currently at around 10% to that. However, I haven't done much diligence on this company whatsoever, so make sure before you make any investment in yourself, you do your own diligence. Next up, we can look into an area that within the SPAC space has been quite hot this year, and that is the transportation technologies vertical, and where there's a stimulus of around $2.6 billion. So the second SPAC we're going to look at is RMG Acquisition Corp, ticker symbol RMG, and its merger with Romeo Systems, which is an EV batteries manufacturer. The third SPAC within this space that we should look at, and which has been covered on this channel before a couple of times, is Switchback Energy, ticker SBE, and its merger with ChargePoint. Now ChargePoint is the leading charging infrastructure business for electric vehicles. I like this one a lot. The merger is now expected to complete in Q1 next year. And if you're not familiar with this business or you haven't seen those videos already, I definitely recommend you checking out my videos on ChargePoint. I think they'll give you a good flavour for what the business does, what its strengths are, and ultimately what its weaknesses are as well, so you can ascertain whether that makes a good investment for you. The fourth SPAC we're going to look at is Hennessy Capital Acquisition Corp, or ticker HCAC, and its merger with Canoo. Now Canoo ultimately is an innovative modular EV manufacturer. Now this SPAC is one of the SPACs where the shareholders have already voted and approved the merger, so this week that ticker will change. Now the fifth SPAC we're going to talk about is a new one, And actually this is very exciting, and in due course, if there's enough interest, I will upload a video on the channel about this. And that is CLA, or Colonnade Acquisition Corp. And very recently it announced its merger with Ooster. Now, I may have pronounced that completely wrong, so apologies if I have. However, its share price has recently jumped a little bit following the announcement of this merger. And ultimately, this business is very similar to Luminar, another company which has successfully completed its merger and is now no longer a SPAC and is trading on its own ticker. And that has seen fantastic share price performance. So if you're interested in this, in the coming days I will have a video uploaded to the channel covering the full DD of the company. And personally, from what I understand currently, I think this could be an interesting one. The sixth SPAC we're looking at is Pivotal Investment Corp, or ticker PIC, and its merger with XL Fleet. They support the electrification of fleets through electric powertrains. And again, this is another SPAC where the shareholders have already voted and approved the merger, so this week we can expect to see the ticker change. So now we're going to look at the distributed energy, the energy grid, and the emerging technologies space, where combined the subsidies are worth around $8.7 billion. So the first SPAC we're going to look at is StarPeak Energy, or ticker STPK, and their merger with STEM. Now again, STEM I've covered on this channel before, so if you haven't seen that video, then I definitely recommend checking it out. The best way to describe this business is ultimately an artificially intelligence-powered distributed energy business. However, it is really hard to describe in one word exactly what they do, so I really do recommend checking out that video. Personally, this is one of the SPACs which I'm most excited about. I think has a really exciting potential, and so I really recommend checking out that video. Today is just not my day for tech, is it? Firstly, that light died, I'm not sure if you noticed that, and then the camera battery died. What is going on? So the eighth SPAC we're going to suggest is Newborn Acquisition Corp, or NBAC, and its merger with Nuvei. Now again, I've probably murdered the pronunciation of that name, so I'm sorry. However, this business is not dissimilar from STEM. What it ultimately allows is it allows people to use their electric vehicles as a source of power to sell energy back to the grid. Again, it's quite similar to STEM for consumers on a smaller scale, whereas STEM is much larger and on an industrial basis. Now the ninth SPAC we're going to talk about is CF Acquisition Corp, or CFII, and its merger with View. View is a smart glass business. Ultimately what they do is have smart windows. For example, windows that automatically tint when a certain amount of sunlight's coming in to reduce the heat that gets in and ultimately reduce AC bills. Now I haven't covered this on the channel before, but I may do. However, there are a couple of things which concern me about the business, and those are more aligned to the fact that doesn't fit with my investment criteria, and I can talk about that in that video if people are interested. But ultimately it comes down to the resilience of that business. However, that being said, I think the proposition is really exciting. There's clearly a strong demand for it, and I think it's very well positioned to benefit from some of these subsidies. So I think investors can be very excited about this opportunity. Now the 10th SPAC is one that's a little different, and hopefully it's one that not many people have heard of before, but that is Peridot Acquisition Corp, or PDAC. Now actually, this SPAC has not yet found its target. It's ultimately targeting a company which is a disruptive energy sector player, so perhaps this could be an interesting one to watch. I haven't seen any rumours about any potential targets yet, so this one could be a way off. So as I said, this list is by no means exclusive. Would love to hear other names which you think should be included on this list. And as always, please let me know your thoughts on comments. There's always some really interesting debates and discussions in the comment section, so please get involved, it's massively appreciated. Ultimately, this massive stimulus bill is great news. Firstly, it could potentially benefit these companies directly through driving greater revenues or driving greater profitability. However, even if it doesn't, what it will do is drive a greater investor interest within the sector, which ultimately should in turn drive up valuations. So as investors within this space, we should be excited by this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash the like button. If you're new to the channel and you like investing related content, then smash that subscribe button. And as always, please let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Let me know if there's some SPACs you think that got missed off this list unfairly. Additionally, if there's some exciting stocks that are closely aligned to some of these trends, please let me know those too as well. Would love to look into those. As I said before, there's been some amazing suggestions, amazing discussions, amazing debates on the comment section in this channel. So please get involved. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.